Thank you to the Taoiseach and the Minister for the opportunity to speak about the pre-Council Statements meeting on the 15th and 16th of October of 2020. Three key issues of the EU-UK relations, climate change and external relations with Africa will be discussed in this meeting, and I will take the opportunity to talk about the current status of the EU-UK relationship and about different scenarios that will arise after January of 2021. Thinking beyond the United Kingdom, I spoke last week in this House about how I believe that our strategy for being Brexit ready in the dairy sector has too great of an emphasis on maintaining the status quo relationship between Ireland and the United Kingdom. While I appreciate the need to maintain a strong North-South relationship, and any approach that we must take must be embedded in an all-Ireland approach, withstanding this, I think that Ireland should be openly talking to our EU colleagues about the position of Ireland within the European Union when the United Kingdom leaves in January 2021. This is not to say that I don't highly commend the work that the EU has done in standing up for Irish interests in the negotiations with the United Kingdom. I am simply highlighting that the situation may arise that it would be more efficient for us to explore alternative areas of growth within the European Union than to try to maintain a potentially unworkable relationship with the United Kingdom. The level-headedness of the President of the European Council when he stated last week that we are united and that we are very calm is quite welcome. However, there now needs to begin a conversation about putting adequate supports to help countries, and in particular Ireland, to realign itself within the single market when the United Kingdom leaves. There is an important conversation about the rule of law happening in Europe at present. There are calls for the COVID-19 Recovery Fund to be linked to adherence to the rule of law, which is something I very much support and agree with. While I recognise the need to uphold European values outlined in Article 2 and Article 7 of the Treaty of the EU of respect for human dignity, for freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law and respect for human rights, including the rights of persons belonging to minorities, we must always ask ourselves what the impact of such measures will actually have on upholding these values. Will they make for such stronger values by making the position of those that disregard the values untenable and the people within the country call for change? Or, on the other hand, will the EU be made out to be a scapegoat by national governments and solidifying their power amongst their people even further, which is a major concern. A large part of why Brexit happened was that large parts of the UK felt that they had been left behind. This anger was taken by parties in the UK, turning the EU into a scapegoat and ultimately leading the people to want to famously take back control. The EU should recognise the role that it must play in impacting the level of inequality within Member States. In order to uphold the integrity of the Union going forward, this must be an issue that we take more seriously. We must learn from the lessons of the reasons, perceived or otherwise, that caused the UK to leave the European Union. Ireland, experiencing first-hand the chaos that is caused by a fellow neighbour leaving the EU, should be at the forefront of advocating for the EU to seriously address the issues that caused Brexit to leave, or caused Britain to leave the EU. And if the EU is truly united on the issue of Brexit, then the EU should equally be united in engaging in a level of self-reflection. I understand that there is a lot that has to be done with the current negotiations, and that altering some of the EU positions now may in some way weaken the EU negotiating hand vis-à-vis the United Kingdom. However, I think such a move would show that to the EU to be a more mature player in the negotiations and could potentially strengthen the ability of the EU to achieve the least disruptive form of Brexit, which would be incredibly important for people working in the agricultural sector, thousands of which, Lascian Corla, are living and based in my constituency, and it is of great importance to me to ensure that that would happen. This is not to say that the EU should lower itself in some of the, frankly, xenophobic tactics that have been used by some in the Brexit campaign, but to reclaim the narrative of the benefits of the EU, and while also working on social reforms, as I outlined previously above. The United Kingdom government has done a lot to make joining the EU out to be possibly the worst foreign policy decision that the UK has ever implemented. The EU should not only be strong on upholding the integrity of the single market, but also be firm on the benefits of it, which there are many. I believe that such a balancing act on the reforms that need to prevent another Brexit, and while also being more confident in asserting the positions of the EU, are 2 points which I hope on Taoiseach and Minister Byrne can express in the upcoming Council meeting.